Graveyard shifts are all alike. I know too well the emotions that fill the long nights. Boredom and fear. Boredom because nothing different ever happens. Fear that sometimes it might. Convenience stores are all alike too. Boxy little buildings filled with junk food and a few staples like bread and milk. The prices are too high. But where else can you buy things after midnight? The little quick shop store wasn't the first one in which I had worked. I've been traveling the country, trying to see some of the places I haven't seen, now that I'm a widower and don't have any reason to stay in one place. The convenience stores always need help, and I have experience. Getting a job is no problem. Neither is the fact that I'm usually assigned the all-night shift. Gives me the days free to do anything I want. You see the same type of customers no matter where the store is. Before midnight, you get teenagers buying sodas and college kids buying beer and potato chips. A lot of young couples come in to buy milk and diapers. Sometimes you get a drunk who wants to buy beer after hours. Sometimes they get nasty when you refuse. And sometimes you get one like the man who stepped in earlier tonight. That's where the fear comes in. He looked like a fighter with a black eye and muscles from a gym. His eyes never stopped moving. I knew the type right away. I've been working in the little stores long enough that attempted robberies are nothing new to me. Most stores have a policy about robberies that emphasizes cooperation and observation. They tell the clerks to do whatever the robber says. It's supposed to be safer that way. But as I looked at this guy, I felt an ache in my belly and the palms of my hands began to sweat. This might be one of those times. The hammer of my pulse began to accelerate. The man picked up a stack of pretzels and came toward the cash register. His other hand was still in his pocket. The door opened and a man and a woman with a baby came in. The man in the leather jacket looked hard at the newcomers and then dropped some money on the counter to pay for his pretzels. I rang up the sale and began to breathe again as he pushed through the door on his way out. It wasn't long afterward that Mike pulled up in his patrol car and came inside for coffee, like he does every night. "Hey, Mike," I said, "you should have been here a little earlier. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but there's a guy in here I think was going to rob the place. Some customers came in and he changed his mind." Mike asked, "Did he pull a gun on you?" "No, I didn't see a gun. It was just a gut feeling. Like I said, maybe I'm paranoid." "Gut feelings are the best ones," Mike said. "What did he look like?" "Muscular, maybe 160 or 70. About 5'9", black hair, probably about 30 years old. He was wearing a black leather jacket and he had a shiner. Left eye." Mike wrote it all down in his notebook and asked, "Did you see what he was driving?" I replied, "He walked in. He might have had a car parked out of the lights, but if he did, I didn't see it." "Okay," said Mike. "I'll keep an eye out for him. He probably won't be back, though. At least not tonight." Business picked up not long after Mike left, and I was too busy to worry about the man who had been in earlier. I had quite a few customers in and out until 3 o'clock, when traffic tapered off. It would be slow now until a little after 4, when the early morning workers would start coming in. It was 3:37 when the man returned. I hadn't even seen a car drive by outside for over 10 minutes, and I knew he wouldn't have to back out this time. I nodded to him and tried not to look scared as he stepped up to the counter. "Pack of Camels," he said shortly. I put the cigarettes on the counter between us. "Too late to buy beer?" "I'm afraid so," I answered. I could feel sweat breaking out on me. Midnight is the latest you can buy, except on Saturdays. He rocked back on his heels, then forward. He thought about it, and I stared at his black eye. I knew I would never forget the way he looked as he sneered and he said, "I guess that'll do it then." I began to work the cash register. When it popped open, he said, "You come out from behind there. I have a gun." I knew it was silly, but I couldn't help asking, "Is this a holdup?" He said, "That's right, jackass. Now you get out from behind that counter like I told you. Move." I swallowed the huge lump in my throat and began to do like he told me, moving around the cash register. The machine shielded me from his view momentarily, and I don't think he even saw my hand go for my gun. I stepped out, bringing the pistol up and aiming it at the bridge of his nose. Surprise and fear leaped into his eyes. The same emotions that must have been in my wife Becky's face when she walked into a little store far away and surprised a man just like this one, a man who had gotten away clean, leaving my world bleeding to death on a dirty tile floor. I pulled the trigger and shattered the expression on his face. He didn't have time to fire his own gun. I put the gun on the desk and sat down to call the police. As I did, I thought about where I would go next. No one would be surprised when I quit this job, not after something like this. That meant a new town, a new name, a new job. I wouldn't have any trouble finding work. Like I said, convenience stores are all alike, and I've got plenty of experience.